Hey there, Andrew here with another exclusive video just for you as a subscriber. If you missed the first two or you're a brand new subscriber, you can catch our first two videos there and there, where we're talking about essential portrait painting techniques. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about the bit that everybody hangs out for, and that is painting detail. I'm going to talk to you about some of my favorite brushes for painting detail, but I got three main tips for you today. Let's get into it. Everybody's been asking me through the YouTube comments section or on Facebook, what are my favorite brushes to use? Now for the portraits of Russell, David, and the Stockman, I've been using these brushes for my detail phase. What do we have here? We've got a 00 filbert bristle brush. This is absolutely beautiful for getting some finer line work, but it also deposits a really controlled amount of paint. I love using this for techniques with painting hair, and this came in real handy when painting Russell and David, especially with those fine highlights through the hairs. Also, for painting skin tones and rounding out some of those features, I love using this #1 filbert bristle brush. This is absolutely beautiful for creating a delicate roundness to areas like the nostrils or the corner of the mouth or even in and around the eyes. I absolutely love these pointed rounds. These are a Neef bristle, and I'm using these basically as line making tools. I even trim them by hand. You can see that there's several fibers there that are missing from that one. I do all sorts of mean things to these brushes, but the lines and the control I can get, especially with the long handled variety, is really handy for delicate work in wrinkled areas. This is a great tool for painting portraits and allows me to create an extra level of detail within the finished product. So tip #1 for achieving a sense of detail is have the right tool for the job. Our brushes are absolutely critical. Let's have a brush that's going to give us plenty of control and deposit that paint in a controlled way. With my portrait paintings, I'm building up the surface in layers. I have block-in, modeling, and detail. So by the time those finer brush marks go on at the last part of the process, I have a groundwork of color that's been built up. Now, essentially with detail, I'm just brushing the top of a surface that's mottled and varied and has some texture to it. And this allows me to control the amount of paint I deposit and build up a form gradually over time. So here's a palette shot from the painting of David, and you'll notice that I've covered a large area of the palette. However, I'm only picking up the smallest amount of paint on the end of my brush and brushing this over the top of an accumulated texture that has been built up from block-in and modeling stages. So by loading the brush correctly here, I'm able to gradually manipulate the form. So creating these types of marks will really allow for more interpretation with the viewer. The painting will dissolve when inspected closely, yet from a distance, all of the brushwork melts into one and creates a harmonious image. My second tip for detailing the portrait is to load the brush correctly, work thinly, and just brush the surface, manipulating it one little bit at a time. Now, one of the things I try doing with painting portraits is I try to hold back as much as possible in the detail process. I feel as artists we have the tendency to overdo detail and put far too much into the painting. This can allow it to almost look really fake by the time we finished the painting. There's just too much going on, there's too much detail crammed into that surface. So I hold back with my mark making and only put in that vital bit of information that will allow the viewer to fill in the gaps. So with painting hair, for instance, I don't paint every hair. I just paint a select few that will give the viewer just enough information to complete the picture within their own mind. This was especially true for the painting of Russell, but also with David, and I even used it with painting the horse's mane in the Stockman. My top 3 tips for painting detail in a portrait is #1, have the right tool for the job. I've shown you some of my favorite detail brushes that have really helped me with portrait painting. #2, it's all about the way you make your marks and deposit the paint by loading the brush correctly. And #3, Hold back with that detail. Only give the viewer enough information so they'll be able to fill in the gaps themselves. So guys, if you want some more information about painting portraits and to hear a little bit more about the techniques we've discussed in these 3 videos, then the wait is over. The Painting Portraits DVD is available right now. If you've enjoyed these past 3 clips, we've only scratched the surface on what we have to talk about. Imagine taking my 13 years of experience and having that with you in your studio as you tackle your next masterpiece. So no matter what level you're at with your portrait painting, whether you're a beginner, intermediate, or advanced, I know you're going to get something out of each one of these tutorials. These are going to be just like you're in a workshop with me, and I'll be guiding you through the process through every single aspect of portrait painting. Now, I did mention there would be a special giveaway in celebration of the release of my Portraits DVD. As a subscriber, and because you're awesome, I'm going to give you the Stockman for free. This is an in-depth tutorial in painting the figure with the horse, and it's about 2 hours long of some essential portrait painting techniques. We cover so much in this demonstration. Imagine 5.5 hours of portrait painting techniques right there with you in your studio to help you along with your own studio practice. Now, here's how you get your hands on your free copy of the Stockman. Go to my website, www.andrewtischler.com/shop. And then from there, when you make your purchase of my Portraits DVD, simply enter the promo code that was given to you in the email I sent you. From there, you'll be able to get your free copy in the format that you purchased it, either as a download or as a DVD. Again, thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you for your support, and I'll see you again soon.